Hey everyone, hey anybody who's watching. Uh, my name is Ron. Most of you know me, but today we had a terrible news that a person in the gaming community. I'm been a gamer my whole life, and someone in the gaming community committed suicide. Um, I can show you here. But this person's name is Reckful. To be honest with you, I never played World of Warcraft, so I'm not sure. Like, I mean, like, I don't really know Reckful that much, but it was really hard to go. It was really hard to go live today. Uh, there have been so many tragedies happening in the world today in 2020. 2020 has been like a really tough year, and I, I don't. I want to fight against. There's so much pain in the world. There's so many hurt people in the world. And so this stream, I want to spend the stream researching about suicide prevention. And it's actually like it's weighing pretty heavy on my heart. I know there was actually a close friend of mine, their dad committed suicide. And I think it's just something that I haven't known too much about, but I want to know more. This is becoming a problem. Uh, I mean, obviously it has been a problem for a long time, but in terms of like how relative it is to me, like it happened to someone close to me relatively recently, and now in the gaming community, which I'm a part of. So we're gonna spend some time just researching about it, remembering Reckful, and we're gonna go from there. If you want to type anything or if you want to add anything, I believe I have everything set up correctly, but you can type in the chat. I have the chat over here, and I'm on every major platform right now. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you'd like to type in the chat, you feel more than welcome to share whatever you feel comfortable with. So I think the first thing is, we should look into actually who Reckful was as a person. I actually don't know who he was. So yeah, let's look up some videos on YouTube. I already searched some suicide videos. So let's look up Reckful. Let's see who he was.
I had a cape that was 370. How did I have a cape that good? What is this? Now, I did get hacked while I was gone and got some gear. While I was on vacation. Kappa 123. You know, they didn't unban me, so what do I have to lose? I'm lazy to get gear, guys. Come on.
Are you gonna be so you're gonna be PvPing and
Let it go. Oh, that's what I was already listening to. Never mind, never mind. Clear, clear, clear. Let's start over. Clear, delete. Start over. Don't search this. Nope, don't search this. It's actually understanding everything I'm saying and writing it down there. Please.
Search results for Let It Go or Thursday to listen to Nevermind, clear, 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 a favor.
Seems like
Don't search this.
I don't know, just from the first couple clips, seems like a fun loving guy. Just wanted to give back.
I can't believe this is the first thing that comes up when I search that.
He's like entertaining people.
The fuck? How is it? All right, y'all. Now, is there anything I need to know about Warrior that I don't know?
Yes, Brian.
Oh no.
There's a lot you need to know about Warrior.
Don't tell him.
Let me ask you this.
Yep.
Do you have Mortal Strike bound?
Yeah.
Alright.
He seems like a funny guy.
Okay.
Shall we get a third? You're good, Brian.
Alright, let's play, Barry. Let's play. I just wanna move on with the day sometimes, okay? No, because I want to move on with the day. I want to move on with my day, and you keep holding me back from moving on with the day. I just want to do things. I wanted to go run for an hour, and you didn't let me go, and I just want to do things. We could talk tomorrow.
Sure, who's in the background?
Twisting it. No, I'm not twisting it because I'm on stream. You twist everything because you're on stream. You're the most fake person on stream I've ever encountered. You're more fake than Mitch Jones. Okay, you actually are. I try to get you to hang out with me on stream the way you actually hang.
I don't know
out
who
with me.
who
You never
Mitch
do it
Jones
once.
is.
You're never the same. Never the same. I always am like, this girl's so cool. Can she just hang out with me on stream the way she actually hangs out with me? And every single time, you're just this different person. You're just like a robot.
I'm different because I'm shy on your stream. I don't want to be called a leech. A lot of people have that problem on your stream because people in your chat community tend to do that. It's hard to be.
Yeah. So, what she was talking about, she just said that a lot of people in your community call me a leech. That's actually a big problem in the gaming community. It's like, being toxic, super toxic, putting people down, tearing them down, and it needs to stop. It actually needs to stop.
Be yourself when you feel like you're going to be accused of something.
I just wanted to like go away and play games in for a while. Can you just let me go?
Yes, I can. The thing is, you're never going to like speed up this process if you just call me.
You know, I don't stream for money like every other streamer you watch who's gonna suck your dick the whole time. Okay. Every fucking streamer you watch only wants to stream to make money. I've talked to all of them off stream. That the only reason they stream is to make money. I promise you. And they hate streaming. Every fucking streamer, all of you watch, okay? And you guys all think they're your friends. They're not your fucking friends, okay? I actually just stream to have fun. And then if you guys are gonna be assholes to me, fuck you, you know? I'll fucking delete my Twitch channel. I don't give a shit. If I get banned on Twitch, I won't even fucking flinch. I don't give a shit, okay?
What was he saying just there?
I actually don't care. Stream is to make money. I promise you. And they hate streaming. Every fucking streamer, all of you watch, okay? And you guys all think they're your friends. They're not your fucking friends, okay? I actually just stream to have fun. And then if you guys are gonna be assholes to me, fuck you, you know? I'll fucking delete my Twitch channel. I don't give a shit. If I get banned on Twitch, I won't even fucking flinch. I don't give a shit, okay?
He's talking about how toxic the chat can be sometimes. So this is like a reoccurring theme.
I actually don't care at all. I tried to delete my own fucking account. They fucking put it back. I don't give a shit. What does it mean to me? Just fucking have a more fun life. I don't know. Fuck it.
Well, this is my virtual reality experience and testing. One possibility, which is deeply unsatisfying, is that it's just a byproduct.
You guys really want me to watch this clip? What is it?
Crip can't even play an Azure Drake right now because the board is completely full. That's what we were talking about before.
I mean, the only thing he can do is Shadow of Death one of his own minions.
I'm not really sure what he's...
Anyone doesn't want to do that because anything he would draw into wouldn't be enough. And ladies and gentlemen, there's...
I'm not really sure what that was.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I heard about that. I actually got the one piece on my rogue. The stream is so stupid. Now that I have your attention, I just wanted to tell you that you forgot to use sweeping strikes. Alright, I'm unmodding you, Southwest.
He seemed like a guy who likes to joke around.
It was a good run. You had a good run, buddy.
In terms of combating and placating injury risk too. So if you just get someone on a stability ball, you know, and sort of just dose them down with sleep 8 hours, 5 hours, you know, 3 hours, and just notice how those stability muscles help you balance, just the basic act of balance, that deteriorates dramatically. No wonder you're getting more injury risk.
Totally makes sense. Now, as a neuroscientist, what do you?
I don't know.
when-
I don't know why
when
he's
people
laughing.
Talk about visualization, and visualization is it's a huge factor in improving technical skills.
Somebody in chat said rape is legal in America now. Ooh, everyone's pogging. Man. What if I was like a big troll and I just wanted to make these black people really black? Like
This
just
is probably not
like
the
this.
best highlight reel for
Oops.
him, I guess.
Undo that. Okay, let's say I make like a new.
Seems like he's just
And
being
just
funny
go
though.
this.
Like, and maybe his chat knew him for that.
Oh, that's not what I want to do. No. I could just change.
I didn't really
This
know
guy, he can
Reckful,
be
so
black too.
maybe
Yeah,
he's
hold
just
on.
being funny.
Make a new one. Get real, dog, motherfucker.
think of a hypothetical. Yeah, so Destiny, remember that one person we were hanging out with who really didn't like him? Yada 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 in Greek, it just throws in a random name at this point when it's obvious I'm trying to avoid saying the name for drama.
Yeah.
You don't find that as rude, Greek?
Yeah, that's rude. I'm sorry. I'll grow up a bit. I've got a lot of
especially when
growing
I was
up to do.
purposely, I'm purposely trying not to say names.
Yeah, that was really fucked up, actually. So was it Blue or Mitch?
Motherfucker.
Did you not leave throw up your toe?
Yeah, I was trying to drink my Coke. You made me spit it out a little bit, you fucking ass.
That's what I do, man. I wouldn't be Greek God X if I could.
Now you are. Yeah, was. Yeah, you think you're really good. It's really funny. If you played in Wrath of Lich King, I would have shit on you. You've just had 10 fucking years to practice. You make your videos, you're like, I'm the most mechanically skilled player in the world.
I think
I'm so good.
he's
And
responding
fucking,
to like
slow-mo you sapping
chat, and they're basically saying like they're better than him. Yeah, like I think mostly like people joke about it, but yeah, I think like 2020 is the year where like we're seeing things becoming too much, for sure.
Blind. Whoa! Holy shit! Never seen that. Oh my god! People actually did things you do 8 years before you did it, and you've been playing the whole time.
It's like it's part of his stream to kind of joke it
I
off.
hope you win BlizzCon, because otherwise, man, what the fuck? All the talking, you fucking.
Maybe we should reconsider that. You know.
I'm not dying. Okay, 8 seconds. I have one shot. 8 seconds, dude. How long can we continue this?
I don't want to hear Mitch's voice. He probably fucking does a big power on someone and they die, and he goes woo or something. It might be exciting, but. My jelly? No, he's good at WoW. I just don't like him. He almost ruined my life.
So what does that mean?
My Twitch account. True. I wasn't even gonna put it back. Twitch put it back for me.
I think these. I don't know. I don't want to read into things, but maybe these are signs, right? Like when someone says like you're ruining my life. I'll delete my Twitch account, which is actually my livelihood. I don't know. I think it's a lot of these clips are actually him responding to negativity. Actually, now that I think about it, and this is from October 2018. I didn't know that.
Alexa, make the lights. God damn it, it's not gonna work. Alexa, make all the lights teal.
All the way is usually defined as to the goal, not sexual intercourse or complete.
What? Alexa, what?
Becca, did you hear what Alexa just said?
No.
Oh,
She's
that's
talking about
Becca.
sexual intercourse.
I can help you, mate. No.
For those who don't know, I saw on Twitter recently that a person named Becca made a reply to I think it's like addressing Reckful, and I guess that's Becca, right? I guess that's like I don't know if that's his girlfriend or his wife or something.
Have that? Sorry, I didn't mean I can help. I can help you get rid of it. That's what I meant to say. Can I have it?
Nice.
Oh, you want the chair, Greek? Yeah, sure. You can have it.
What's the weight limit?
0.5 Greeks, I think.
0.5 Greeks.
Fuck you. Fuck you. I don't care.
Why do you
I just
only
stream
see
for
negative
fun.
comments?
If you guys are gonna be assholes, I'm gonna ban you all. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. You know?
He literally has to
I
ban
don't stream for money like every other streamer you watch who's gonna suck your dick the whole time, okay?
people in his
Every
chat.
fucking streamer you watch only wants to stream to make money. I've talked to all of them off stream that the only reason they stream is to make money. I promise you. And they hate streaming. Every fucking streamer, all of you watch, okay? And you guys all think they're your friends. They're not your fucking friends, okay? I actually just stream to have fun. And then if you guys are gonna be assholes to me, fuck you, you know? I'll fucking delete my Twitch channel. I don't give a shit. If I get banned on Twitch, I won't even fucking flinch. I don't give a shit, okay? I actually don't care at all. I tried to delete my own fucking account. They fucking put it back. I don't give a shit. What does it mean to me? Just fucking have a more fun life.
Fuck with this. Oh. Alexa, play Despacito.
Despacito remix, featuring Justin Bieber, isn't included with Prime but is available with Amazon Music Unlimited. Would you like to learn more?
Hell yes.
Amazon Music Unlimited lets you play tens of millions of songs on
Oh, Alexa,
It's an
stop.
ad. It's an ad.
And then you'll be automatically charged $3.
Alexa, stop.
Terms in the Alexa app.
Alexa, stop.
Stop.
I'm gonna start like doxing him or some shit.
Oh no, oh no. Oh, he was in the bathroom the whole time. I didn't
Did you see
realize
this
that.
guy's fucking logs in my chat?
Who? The same
I
guy?
sent you the message. Yeah, I sent you the message on.
I'm open. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, you think you're really funny, huh? That was actually pretty good.
You've been gnomed.
Every time you practice it incorrectly, you're making less than no progress. You're going backwards. You're reinforcing bad learning behaviors in your head. You have to unlearn it.
Here we go. Slowly and perfectly.
You're learning bad habits right now. You're learning bad habits right now. You just learned a bad habit. You're learning it. You're stopping right there every time. Because you're learning it. You're reinforcing it. The synapses in your brain are strengthening to fuck this up over and over again at the exact same spot.
Alexa, make all the lights 30% brightness.
Okay.
Oh shit. Alexa, make all the lights 45% brightness.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. There we go. Alexa, make my bed.
If I had hands, I would gladly help.
What?
A playlist that might turn this chore into a little fun. Just say, play music for cleaning.
Alexa, play music for cleaning.
Here's a playlist for cleaning music. Spring Cleaning on Amazon Music.
Oh shit, I'm in the mood to clean all of a sudden.
Oh no. Clean. Clean, Reckful.
Alexa,
Oh. I want to watch this.
Anything but a yes.
Streamers' reactions to Reckful's suicide.
I don't understand why she would type this if it wasn't him. But it also... There's a new tweet. I don't think I want to stream right now.
Oh, so what I heard, by the way, is that Blue, this person here,
Right now?
Blue is his ex-girlfriend or something.
Dude, the guy said a lot of motivational shit to me and Zerk. Come on. Good guy, man.
So I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but over here, like someone in chat said, money doesn't bring happiness. So basically what I've been hearing is that Reckful had like all the money that he could ever want, like all the money in the world. And I think people are starting to not realize, but like it's becoming more apparent, especially with all like there's like deaths with celebrities as well, and people are saying like, you know, I think people grow up thinking that money will make them happy, but it doesn't. And I was listening to a stream earlier today, and they were saying that well, I was listening, it was how healthygamer.gg or _gg, and he was just saying like money doesn't make you happy in the same way that not having money makes you unhappy. Having money doesn't make you happy in the same way that not having money makes you unhappy. This is pretty heavy, guys. It's pretty heavy.
Good guy, man.
It's kind of crazy that we're receiving this news over Twitter now, like these days. Like really, impactful, painful news over Twitter. It's been happening a lot recently.
Dude, 2020 sucks. My mom's life.
Yeah, 2020 sucks, bro.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
It actually sucks.
So like I don't know, like if this is true, if it's not true, like you guys probably know, me and Byron had quite a complicated relationship. So
55 big ones. WTF is wrong with me?
right. So we will see exactly what's going on here, but I have on decent authority that what people are saying may be true. So I'm just gonna go see.
I hope this like really gives people a better perspective on like how their behavior affects other people.
Mm-hmm.
I remember whenever Etika, that happened last year, and I would go to like his last like.
Actually, I should pause for a second. I think I should also put out on Instagram exactly where my streams are. Hey everyone, just for anybody who's interested in watching, if you're looking for the link to my stream, you can go to my Instagram profile and then just click the YouTube link, the Facebook link, or the Twitch link. And I'll talk to you in a bit.
And it was just people that were memeing on him, looking for, retweet karma, looking for likes on their Twitter post. And we've turned social media into this cannibalistic machine that allows people to consume each other. And this is what the outcome is. The thing is that a lot of times you see a lot of these people and they're exposed to social media for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
And even for me, like I consider myself to have a pretty strong self-image and have a pretty thick skin.
Exactly,
for
yeah.
the most part,
Yeah.
right? There are things that bother me, but I'm talking about for the most part. Very long period of time.
So
they're exposed.
What he was saying is, I think people just have a natural incline to be negative, especially in the gaming community. Like just in chat, there's trolling, usually the streamer is pretty strong. Usually, more often than not, they just laugh it off and maybe they'll make jokes back at chat. But yeah, dude, like how much is too much? Like, do you want to be the one person who kind of tips them over the edge? Like how?
Exposed to social media for a very long period of time. And even for me, like I consider myself to have a pretty strong self-image and have a pretty thick skin for the most part, right? There are things that bother me, but I'm talking about for the most part.
Okay. Just put some mode? I'm not gonna put some mode. I don't think it's any use of some mode. Yeah, I think people just got news that Reckful passed. I don't know like who actually confirmed it, but people say it's true. So I don't really know like you know.
Yeah, what are you supposed to say?
I gotta go.
Why?
What? Yeah.
Why? What happened?
I gotta go.
What?
See, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Chat, please try to be respectful.
I told Sony that he can play if he wants.
Assuming that everything is true and Reckful did pass away.
Shitting on.
Try to be respectful in chat. I'm gonna do a
of course.
tolerance zero, literally tolerance zero for people that are like rude or any like negative comments towards something like passing away, especially when it's like a close friend of mine.
Oh my god!
If you're like weird or negative or say something like weird about that, you're probably gonna get from a band. Regardless of it being a sub or a donator, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You know, if you have
That's true.
please don't, talk.
I think chat needs to, and people on the internet, like I think people like they need to know when to be respectful. They need to know when to chill.
To somebody. If you have anything, anything, just talk to somebody. Please go talk to someone, whether it's your parents, whether it's a friend, a psychologist, somebody. Reach out. It's serious shit, man.
Yeah.
I lived with bipolar my entire life. I'm on strong medication, and I know how important that is. So please, please, please do not tell yourself that you're a man and you can handle it. You don't need that stuff. Believe me, talk to people. That's very foolish. So please, all of you need to take that very seriously.
Yeah. If you're thinking about suicide, you need to talk to some people. You need to talk to somebody close to you.
Saw him as a role model, or he was a part of your childhood. I'm sorry for all of your losses, and my condolences to all of you. And yeah.
Yeah. I actually want to watch some news stories. I want to know, was there something very specific that kind of put him over the edge? And also, what's sad for people who don't know Reckful, um, one thing that I learned is that apparently his brother also committed suicide as well, or something like that, or another person in his family committed suicide as well. And this guy is actually only a year older than I am now. I'm turning 30 next month. Tributes have been paid to video game streamer Byron Bernstein, known as Reckful, who died on Thursday. Mr. Bernstein was well known and loved esports player and had 960,000 followers streaming on the streaming site Twitch. His brother Gary Bernstein confirmed that Reckful had taken his own life, age 31. Twitch said Reckful was a streaming pioneer and that it was devastated to hear of his death. Mr. Bernstein had built his following in part by playing World of Warcraft. When his death was reported on Thursday evening, fans held virtual memorials inside the game. Yeah, that's true. I did see this. So this is World of Warcraft, and these are all the people. This is the game that Reckful was famous for playing. And these are all the people who gathered. I'm not sure what the 15 means. Is that? These are real players. They just gathered in one place to remember Reckful. Before his death, he had been working to create his own video game called Everland. In January, he shared a video on YouTube in which he talked about his own struggle with depression and said he lost one of his brothers to suicide. Yeah, I just heard about that. Byron was someone who talked about his struggles to help make room for others to do the same. Twitch said in his statement. As we process the loss, we have to recognize that the stigma around mental health and treatment often prevents people from seeking and getting the help they need. I want to know more about his struggle with depression.
We'll be talking to Dr. K today. I don't think he's back yet. Maybe it was today, actually. Wait, 1-5. It might be today. I have a lot to talk to him about. A lot. I've been thinking. I've been thinking and thinking and thinking, and I got a lot I want to say. You love the view. Yeah. Dude, I love waking up here. I never... Okay, so there was this one time in my life when I was really sad, and I was like, I'm just going to try to do whatever I can to stop being sad. I'm going to move to a really nice place. Maybe that'll work. So I got a penthouse. It was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The stream remembers. I got a penthouse apartment that was $7,400 a month. And then I was waking up there and I wasn't happy. It didn't change anything.
I wonder
nothing.
where actually.
Actually, I was annoyed because I
Where is Reckful from? Oh, he's LA, so maybe penthouse in LA. That must
paid
be
so
crazy.
much money and I was still not having fun, and there was loud construction next door. So I was like, oh, this didn't work at all. And everyone just made fun of me in chat all day. They were like, wow, you're paying 7.4K to hear this. Because they were annoyed just listening, because it was like all day. I don't know. So then I gave up on really nice apartments. I was like, fuck it, you know? But now that I have one where I don't hear construction all day, and also I'm just in a better place mentally, now it feels nice and worth it and like makes me happier. But it's mostly because I'm in a better place mentally. Because I wake up with like goals in mind. I'm like, I want to fucking work on my game. Fucking Everland, dude. And it actually, like, Everland, like the Dr. K is right. Like, Everland is what's like saving my life. You know, it gives me drive, and I love it. I love it. Some things are coming together. Little things for Everland are coming together a lot. Lily Pichu finally actually logged in the game and ran around and decided like what kind of music she wants to make for
wow,
it.
that's pretty cool.
And she was like, "Can I say I'm a composer for Everland?" I was like,
When
yeah,
was
of course,
this?
yeah. And then
that was at the beginning of the
we
year,
need a lore
January
guy.
7, 2020.
So someone applied, and he had done lore for another game. And Talbot read it, and he really liked it. We were like, okay, like, because
keeping schedule.
Honestly, me and Talb can give a fuck about lore. You know, we can't give a fuck. So to delegate that responsibility to someone else, they can just do it for the people who do like it. It's really nice for us to think like, okay, you do it. You know, like, yeah. So it's great. It actually feels really good. And then scammed. No, he's not even charging me anything. He just, you know, he wants. Maybe they want a shout out later or something. You know. Reverse scam. I actually really like to try to make everything a fair. I like the feeling of a fair deal. It feels great. You know, when you're getting something and they're getting something, and it feels mutually beneficial, it feels really good. And when I'm getting some more, I really feel it weighs on me. I'm like, oh, I'm like fucking this person over. I can't do it. And then usually I'll get used. People will fuck me. They'll fuck me over, and you guys know in my past I've gotten fucked over. Because I didn't ever want to use others, but then I'd let myself get used. But I need to make sure it's like 50-50, you know? Yeah, the 15K curtains, 30K
like
car,
relationships are 50-50, like both people are in it.
The memes from the past,
and it's
right?
genuine, yeah.
Dude, I'm happy. I can say with confidence, I am actually day-to-day happy, even when I'm doing nothing and alone. I'm happy. I've never felt this way in my life.
That's great.
Okay? I've never felt day-to-day happy when I'm doing nothing and alone. So I'm not saying it's gonna last forever, but right now I am. So happy. I want to keep it going. Just try to keep going, you know. Feed Talb. I am feeding Talb, dude. Talb's coming to visit this. We're gonna grind really hard this month working on the game. Then I told him come visit at the end of the month, like as a reward for all our progress, dude. Fuck it. I'll fly him here. He taught me some Super Smash Melee. You know how? I mean, Ultimate. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember this day, but Reynad and me and Reynad ran up like 3,000. He's like,
I want to get to the part where he talks
go.
about
so
if he talks more about
we
his
played
depression.
Smash against each other, me and him. Bets. He was 100% confident. It was great. You can watch the VODs. I was so bad too, and I still won it. He would, and he died. You're fucking yourself in the long run. So, and you're learning it the wrong way, and your fingers are moving the wrong way, then you're wasting time. And now when I play, I feel like I'm practicing correctly. Streaming, yeah. Streaming's just not his thing. Yeah. You can't, I know you, as viewers, you're like, you want to see people stream, but not everyone's like that kind of person, right? He did used to stream, yeah. He kind of tried it out, though. It's not really what he wants to do for a living, right? So he said she didn't want to fuck Greek because his dick was too big. To me. Unless he lied to me. Everyone like it was true because you're a lying piece of shit. I'm proud of you.
I look old.
No.
Oh, he got
How
so
old do
skinny.
you think you
He
look?
lost so much weight.
Like 27.
That's not old, you fuck.
It's not old.
Well, I'm fucking 30, and if you think 27's old, then I'm fucking old.
Holy shit. Don't worry, I'll be at your funeral then. About Trump and all that drama.
I haven't been following it. Have you?
Yeah, like there was they killed one of the guys.
Iranian general. But I don't feel like I've followed it enough to give a comment. I was just fucking thinking about. This is not a happy fucking stream listen thought, but I was thinking about the fucking Holocaust today. My dad was born during the Holocaust. My dad was born in 1942. Think about that, chat. Okay, he's 77. And my dad's mom saw crazy shit. Okay? He has cassette tapes recorded of her talking about it. She just saw her family members get killed in front of her, you know?
What?
Yes. She saw them like fucking. They would like throw babies in the air and fucking shoot them like this, dude.
Ugh, that's actually horrible.
They'd put people in ovens. They burned people alive. They did crazy shit. Her job was she made target dummies for the British Army.
Crap,
Switching
dude.
the subject. I'm gonna play your game and promote it for just because I love you, dude.
I know. Why do you have to hang it in front of me like a carrot, bro? Like, what do you mean?
Kappa Kappa.
Progress towards something and you're happy about it. Really serious, yeah. But aspirations. Let's get in the game to do things instead of get a girl a car to fuck me for like. What do you mean? Greek, what are your aspirations? Let's get serious. Let's have a real talk here.
Do you actually want my serious aspirations?
I wanna get really serious, yeah. But what makes you feel like you're making good progress towards something and you're happy about it?
Holy
So,
crap, what a
currently,
question.
I just want to feel healthy. That's my main goal.
He does.
Once I feel healthy, I feel like I'm gonna be unstoppable. That's how pumped I am.
I actually think that's a trap, by the way.
Once I'm healthy and I go to America.
I think that's a huge trap. Like, once I get this, once I have this, once I do this, then I'll be happy. Actually, Reckful was talking about it earlier on in this video. He was saying like, once I live in this penthouse, I'll be happier. That's a huge trap. I mean, like, I feel like people have heard it before, but really the key is to be grateful, to be happy with what you have. Not it doesn't mean stop striving, but stop going for your goals. But yeah, dude, appreciate what you have. Appreciate it, man. Be grateful for it. There's lots of people that don't have what you have. You know? Yeah, you really have to recognize it, I would say. Huge trap. Let's get back to the video.
America, my main focus in life, my main goal is to get my mum a house. That's all that's on my mind. And if I have
You swear that's your main goal?
Yes. It's always been
That's wholesome as fuck. You really promise that's your goal and now you're not just saying that for the stream?
Okay, I can tell you why it's my goal, so you can actually realize why. Because my whole life, my mum's been a single mum. She's lived in houses for rent her whole life. We've moved and we've never had a stable home. I don't want to say it like we haven't had like a safe place to stay. I've always been safe. But she's never had her own place she could call home. She's never had her own garden that she can call hers. She's never had that. She had to work 2 cleaning jobs to keep me, clothed in school. She's worked her ass off. She's done everything she can to make me grow up.
Damn, dude.
That's pretty intense, bro.
Your mom is awesome.
Yeah.
She is. Yeah, I fail her all the time. Like, I feel like I fail her. if I do anything, it's never a projection.
No, you did not fail your mom, man.
No, he didn't.
You're doing a good job.
Greek is a really big personality in Twitch. I'm sure he ended up doing it.
Stuff, but you're doing a good job, and you appreciate her.
My mum's a nice. My mum's an angel. But yeah, like I just like try make sure she's taken care of because I want to just get her a house, dude. Like I want.
So have you looked into it? Like how much is a house that she would want and stuff like that?
Right now, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna 5-head it a little bit. We're gonna actually buy a house. Maybe not like the forever home. We're just gonna get a house and rent it out and get more money, like an investment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't you want a house for her to live in?
Yeah, but I thought you wanted.
We'll get a house.
Yeah.
We'll pay off most of it, and then we'll get somebody in there to rent it, and they can pay off the mortgage with their rent.
But wasn't the whole point
Yeah,
of the
wasn't
story
the
that
point
your
to get
mom
her the
gets
house
to live
though?
in a nice house
Yeah.
who she
Yeah,
calls
but
home?
the thing is, if you get if we buy a final house, it's gonna take a long time to actually look around, make sure there's the right place, and I don't want my money just waiting there. Do you see what I mean?
Huh?
So if you buy an investment property, you don't have to look around and make sure it's a good one.
That doesn't make any
No.
sense. It doesn't make any
Reckful,
sense.
listen. If I'm gonna buy a house, I gotta be sure it's gotta be right. Okay, I have money that's just sitting there, so
Yeah.
I'd rather just buy like a cheap property, not like a big house. A cheap property.
I don't
Put
agree
a
with
low
this
amount
logic at all.
and make money off that while I'm waiting to find a
I wonder what
proper house,
Everland
and
was
afterwards
about.
we can sell it. Right?
I don't agree.
Way
2 years of development.
too dang. This is way too dank, lads. Way too dank.
Okay, that's
My
cool. It's
PC's
like
overheating.
like an 8-bit like Stardew Valley kind of game.
Okay, so once you guys start getting in, there are a few bugs that we couldn't fix.
That's cute.
There's this weird bug where once in a while, when you're entering an interior, you have to reopen the client. And we just couldn't figure out how to make it go away before the stress test, but stuff happens. I signed up. How do I get in? You're gonna get an email. It goes in the order people signed up, and it's sending 1,000 at a time, starting in 9 minutes. We will send more at a time if everything's working fine. But a lot of people signed up.
This is actually a like
This
this is a cool game. It looks like.
I'm guessing it would break, so we do a little tiny bit spread out. Yeah, wait. I've never actually been in game with like thousands of people, so it'll be interesting once the emails start going out.
Oh gosh.
Is this gonna be the final map? Not absolutely for sure, but
Whoa, it's huge. He made a huge game.
and then we will in patches expand into the clouds.
What?
Everyone is. Someone asked how many servers. Everyone is on the same server. It just has different channels. And as more people log in, it makes more channels. That's actually what we were testing today because we don't have enough people on our own to test that. So, and then you just change server like this, but your character exists on all of them. You know.
Okay. This actually looks like it took a lot of work. Hey, Sly.
Hold hands. We can't hold hands. You could dance on the log though.
Less than 3.
It was a bug that you could dance while sitting, but then I was like, it actually looks cool. So
How
believe it. How do you reserve your name? We don't have name reserve. You got first come, first serve, dude. You better fucking hurry up. How many people signed up? Okay, well, I only tweeted. I didn't actually stream announcing the sign up, and 20,000 people signed up through my tweet. Like, put their email and everything.
That's insane.
Every single person who downloads the game, I have to pay for it because we're not doing it on Steam. We're downloading off our website.
What?
It costs like $1 every like 7 people or something.
He has to download his
When I do a
own
bigger
game to
stress
send it
test,
to
if we
people.
let absolutely everyone in, then I'll do it on Steam because otherwise it'll just
Holy,
bankrupt
bro.
me. Okay, so the first 1,000 emails should have just gone out right now. Okay, I'll go meet you guys in like the town. Is account sharing allowed? Oh, of course. I would never ban anyone for account sharing. We're gonna see the first non-dev log in this game in a sec, dude.
This game looks insane for having created it
These are
yourself.
people okay, these are the first non-devs who've logged in. This guy,
Pog.
and this guy. Hi, first guy. Oh, Force in all caps is here, and he's black. Oh, we're starting to have people log in, dude. What's up, Tom? Versace. Everything's working so far. This is my first time seeing this many people in game, dude. It's been like 2 years working on the game. This is cool.
2 years. It actually looks incredible, though.
I'm sitting on this.
It looks like kind of like a Pokemon game. Oh.
Why are you running?
Why am I running? Why not? Reckful Reasons has to play My Summer Car. You know, now that I've tried to make a game, we all used to talk shit about My Summer Car. But it's kind of it's really hard to make a game.
This looks
dude.
like a pretty cool game.
My summer car is pretty cool. You guys couldn't make my summer car, all right? These I think these.
Oh my gosh! Look at the mob following him.
Up here. You can go in this one. Just a little spot. Oh, there's a clipping bug right there. Nobody sees that.
Oh.
I'm surprised people aren't getting this bug where you zone in and out and the game crashes. Because when we were testing it with just 10 people, we were getting it. And we couldn't figure out how to fix it.
It's pretty cool.
I want to ask... Okay, so basically, from here, we have a lot of options on what features to launch in what order. And we have, like, internally, like, an idea of what we want to do, for release. But then I would wonder what you guys would want. And then what you guys will want, some of the things you want take a long-ass time. We won't actually do them first. Or maybe ever, but... Okay, everyone's spamming Zulul. Arenas. Porn. Chess tables. That we will have.
Chess tables.
Poker we actually made at some point.
That we will have.
Completely made it, but it was so long ago that... I don't know if it would still work.
That looks pretty cool.
My idea for the game is just like a place for people to hang out. There's no place that people just log in and...
The next thing that I want to kind of move on to seems like we learned a little bit about Reckful. We learned that he was what I learned was that he was like a kind of carefree, like he's kind of funny, and it seems like he likes to joke with his chat a lot. I think he dealt with like the normal amount of haters, as far as I could tell. I think what's becoming more and more apparent is just like how do you know when something is too much? Like, can you imagine being the comment that pushed him over the edge? And yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be that guy. I think everyone is like trolling in good fun, but they don't realize how it actually affects people. And actually, there was a huge issue I didn't know about until today, but there's a controversial streamer named Alidity. She's done a couple things on stream. I think she's like famous for throwing her cat, and she's like showed one of her boobs on stream by accident. She's a little bit controversial, but it's coming to a point where you could see in her tweets, it's becoming a lot. It's becoming like too much for her. Like, this is Keemstar. As far as I know about Keemstar, he like specializes in reporting drama. I'm not sure in which industries, but as far as I know, reporting drama. And Drama Alert, #1 source for news on social interactions and online entertainment. Okay. And Keemstar is over here. I think it's part of his job to create drama, right? Because he needs content for his channel. He needs clips. He needs, So he's saying here, do you think it's any coincidence that I literally started crying on stream about being bullied yesterday? It's almost like the perfect timing right after a tragedy. Some might say straight up manipulation. So, I mean, this is horrible. This is like someone is legit pouring out their feelings, and you like disregard it. And that's like the opposite way I think you should handle that. Like obviously, like, I think there are people who are faking, right? There are people who are doing it for clout, but I don't think you can let those bad actors, those like the fakers, I don't think you should let them disregard all the people who have legitimate issues. What a tough stream, guys. Okay. Actually, the video that I wanted to watch is actually from a guy named Healthy Gamer GG. Oh no, actually Devin Nash. Actually, Devin Nash is a personality in the gaming community who does commentary on industry, like when Twitch had a bunch of problems with DMCA and music and stuff like that. He would make videos on it. Actually, I can go to his channel. He would make videos on like people like Mixer closing down and all of those streamers having to leave Mixer, another live streaming platform. So he reports on things going on in the gaming industry. And his most recent video, which was released a couple hours ago, this talks about the toxicity of the gaming community, and he brings up this video with Alinity, which I think we should watch.
The reason that I wanted to stream today is because I think that there's a lot of really important things to talk about, which is sort of why I started this channel in the first place. Was like I wanted to create a platform for talking about really important issues in the gaming industry. And when I thought about important issues in the gaming industry today, I realized that there may not be a more important issue than the sheer magnitude of toxicity surrounding the gaming industry, and for that reason, it might be a focal point of what we speak about today. And you know, this is going to be a super real talk stream. I like to run entertaining streams. I don't like to do these. It's not great for me to do these, but it needs to be done. I want to really add a bit of positivity and tell a couple stories and you know whatnot. And I think together we can like work together, get through it. Where I guess like my traditional foundation in dealing with like life is from Buddhism. Some people that are parts of my community know that and know that I spent a lot of time with Buddhist masters and learning about it. And the true Buddhist way to handle something of something like everything that's happening in 2020 is kind of just to meditate through it and walk away, because. But I think all the way back in the sorry, I mean all the way back in the BLM movement, I was starting to feel really depressed about the way that the world was going in 2020. It just felt really overwhelming even then, and that was like
it's like the world is crumbling.
Even a month ago, and they just shut down the last of the Seattle Autonomous Zone. They came in with 600 cops and bulldozed the whole thing. I don't even know what it's for, or like what all of it was for. But anyway, it's not important. The point was that I was feeling really depressed about the state of things, and I was so like that weight of that was so heavy that I was like just sitting in my house like holy shit. Like, and I'm sure the feeling that most of you must have when you're faced with news like this and everything else that's happening. What the fuck does one person do when there are so many problems to solve? And
it's overwhelming.
When I started thinking about that a lot, I was watching videos on Twitch and YouTube of people protesting and like thousands of people marching in the street. And that's when I realized that if I wanted to do anything, I had to in some way take individual action and be part of the change.
Yeah.
We're the change. Important lesson
like
that
the individual people who
BLM
are
taught me
in the game community, people in chat.
So like I did. I went out. I started.
The streamers, it's you. It's really
myself,
you. It's us.
Organized.
It's not. I mean,
with Tyler to raise.
I think people like to say like it's systemic. Like there's things in the system. Like we're part of the system. Like it's us that has to change.
Money. We did research on good charities. We talked to people. I talked to police. I talked to anybody that would listen. I talked to the stream. I brought you guys to the Seattle Chaz to see what it was about. And I realized that the only way to stop. So I think traditional Buddhism would lead us back to maybe meditating or getting to the point where we can truly detach ourselves from outcomes that are related to suffering, but for all of its for my lifetime study of it, I don't think I had ever figured out how to actually go through the process of doing that. They have a couple ideas, but the way that I've been able to do it, and the reason I'm talking about this, is because I think that once you decide that you are no longer going to be a bystander in this, and you are going to take a stand.
Yeah.
And it does not matter what your following is. It doesn't matter what your
status is. Doesn't matter if you're a streamer. Like, it's you, dude. It's us. It's me. It's you.
If you can put your voice towards positivity and towards change, and you can start that discussion in whatever part of the world that you inhabit, then you can make a difference.
You can,
and it is through that feeling of making that difference that you will free yourself from this oppressive feeling that you have that the world is just not going right.
The world's a terrible place right now.
It was through action that I today feel like I'm moving forward as a person to be able to make a difference. Not a very large one, and maybe in the grand scheme of things, not one at all. But for my personal solace, I have to believe that. And I have to realize that I can't just sit around. Like, I have to do something. And like, when Path of Exile came out for Harvest League, all I wanted to do was chill, you know? Like before all the agency stuff happened and burned down, I just wanted to take about a week off or 2 or 3 and be like, yo, fuck this, right? Let's go harvest some seeds, relax, chill out.
Yeah, let's just chill. Like, let's escape, dude.
And the
world is
when
crap sometimes.
The stuff dropped about the agency world, and like we started to see the sexual misconduct stuff come out, and streamers started.
For those of you who are watching and don't know, in the gaming community, like recently, like within the past 2 weeks, there have been a lot of people in the community, like maybe leaders of organizations or key team members in so there's like streamer houses. There's like a house, and all of them in the house are streamers. It's been out, like people have been outed in the streamer house for having sexually assaulted other people in the house. So it's like sexually assaulting your roommate, pretty much. It's becoming a problem that is becoming more apparent, for sure. That's what he's talking about.
Losing large percentage of their income because they were signed to agencies that were doing these deals. I realized I couldn't do that. I like as much as I want to. People that watch this stream regularly know that this broadcast is entirely optional for me, right? Like, I'm here because I think it's important to be here. And
for those of you who don't know, Devin Nash is he's like a co-CEO of a it's like a talent agency called Nerd Fusion. So he actually already I'm sure he earns enough money from that job, though he just streams and does industry commentary on the side. So that's what he's saying, like he doesn't need to be here.
And I try very hard to not like go clout chasing or broadcast messages that I don't believe in or do things I don't believe in. I'm lucky enough that I can do that. And it's funny to me that like when I walk into my office today, everyone is like, dude, I hope you're good. Because I knew Byron. We talked for hours sometimes at night, CLG. And it's so funny. It's like...
CLG is I think it's an esports team that Devin used to help run, and so he's just saying he talked to Reckful because of CLG. I'm not sure if Reckful was a part of CLG. Yeah.
Why are you wishing me well? There's so many people that actually need. I'm good, right? My life's easy.
Yeah.
There's just nothing wrong ever. I've just had it very easy, and it's by virtue of that that I feel an incredible obligation to talk about some of the things that we need to talk about today. One of which is that we've somehow goose-stepped ourselves as a species into an incredibly toxic online world that is a weird broken mirror of reality. And especially in the gaming industry, we have started to like create these outcomes, and they've been through a combination of anonymity and I think also just sheer like suffering on the part of the individuals, right? And we've created these focus points of negativity towards creators and towards people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not the most liked person on LSF. I'm very threatening because I run a business and I have a job or whatever it is. I don't know, but every single day almost you can find a thread on LSF with.
Oh, for those of you who don't know, who might be watching but don't know what LSF is, LSF is a thread on Reddit. It's called Live Stream Fails. It's basically, I think people think that they're being funny, and I think to some degree it probably is. But basically, what it is, it's like kind of like a hate thread almost. It's like mostly what it is a bunch of clips of streams where the streamer has done a mistake in some way or has somehow failed. Maybe they leaked some personal information. Maybe they like hurt themselves on stream. That's typically what this thread is like. So that's what he's talking about being like one of the most famous people on LSF is because people tend to clip his streams.
Hundreds, if not dozens, if not hundreds of negative comments about me. And I'm not even nearly the pinnacle of that, right?
Mhm.
Like you look at Tyler or Asman or like any of these people, and there just seems to be so much focused hate. I think that most of the people that are issuing that kind of negativity are not aware of the damage it actually causes and are not entirely like lost as human beings. I think that they are suffering themselves.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Are projecting that suffering out onto other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is good news because it means that they're not like truly like one of the other things that I learned in this concept of taking action about things is that we can't ever make any progress if we just polarize the fuck out of everyone and we say that person is so different from me that we can never come to terms. So if I just come on here and I say everyone on LSF is just a psychopath with no feelings and they're completely unaware, what I've done there is I've eliminated the ability to ever have any kind of parlay, right? There's no
like when you put them into a box.
So we as a community shouldn't believe that an area like Reddit or Twitter or whatever is toxic. We need to believe in the inherent ability of human beings to learn and evolve and grow and become better. That is the only way that we are ever going to make any kind of real progress on these issues. So it starts from a place of treating people fairly, and from there we build it up. And I'm devastated by the Alinity quip, and I'm also frustrated by an entire front page of LSF that's dedicated to mental health and hearts and positivity, when this is the number one focal point of absolute toxicity in our community. And not 2 hours before Byron's death was an entire thread dedicated to how foolish he was for his tweet that he made to Becca. And yet we'd like to believe that this community stands for something.
So if you can imagine, like, someone being bullied up until the time of their suicide. I didn't know that. Like just 2 hours before Reckful's suicide, he was still being bullied on LSF live stream fails.
The real problem is that
it's unforgivable.
Twitch should never have ceded control of something as important as the clip system, and the only real discovery on this platform, to a bunch of vigilantes. and I'm not trying to say what happened to Byron was responsible, or that we should hold like LSF or Reddit or Twitter accountable for what happened to Byron.
But it's part of
what
it.
I'm trying to say. Make that very clear.
It's part of it,
right? Nor am I. But I'm hoping that what's happened today, along with, and especially with Alinity, that we as a community and an industry start to realize that our actions and words have real effects on people. And like, you can all see it with Alinity, but this is happening on a microcosm with absolutely hundreds of people. I will play the clip for Alinity. I think it's important. I saw this.
Hey, Bilbao, I appreciate you being in the chat, but when we talk about suicide, it's pretty serious, though.
I just don't know what to do. Like, I just don't know what to do. Like, do I stop streaming? Is that the only way that people are gonna ever leave me alone?
Yeah, so for anybody who's watching and they're wondering who Alinity is, Alinity, again, is like she's a very controversial streamer, I would say. She's one of the most watched female streamers. No, we don't need suicide prevention. We just need to figure out how to get the right people to kill themselves. Like, for example, like Sims. You're being very toxic right now. I'd appreciate it if you stop, Bilbao. Alinity is a very controversial streamer. She has like lots of clips online about she like threw her cat once. She's shown a boob on stream by accident, and she's received a lot of hate for that. Especially on live stream fails on the Reddit thread. And you know, she's coming out like yesterday, and she's talking about how upset it makes her to see entire pages, entire threads about how much she's failed at life. And it gets to a person. What actually hurts more is that people were kind of saying that she was manipulating, like she wasn't being serious, and they're completely disregarding her feelings.
It's my livelihood, you know?
Hey, Bilbao, who doesn't make their cat drink vodka sometimes happens to the best of us. Hey, Bilbao, just letting you know, like, if you continue to post comments like that, I think I'll just ignore you or straight up ban you. But, like, I appreciate you being in the chat and watching, but I won't accept those kinds of comments.
And it's been my livelihood for 8 years. Like, what am I gonna do?
Don't listen to trolls. Just accept that you made a mistake because you are a human being.
I
and
have!
do your best to live your life
Jack,
the
but
right
do I
way.
really have to read thousands and thousands of messages every day about the mistakes I've made in my past?
The best one is to say
Is that
just
really
thank
what
you.
I have to do?
You have been through a lot. You know you are loved and appreciated. Don't forget that.
Like, you can't just say, like, ignore the trolls.
Bilbao from Twitch. Bro, if she wanted to not be bullied, all she had to do was get a real job and quit Twitch. Like, the real heroes are the U.S. Army veterans, who can't just quit PTSD. She can go work in Makas. I don't know what a Makas is. Thousands and thousands. Yeah, I don't know if the argument to say that, oh, you should just quit Twitch and get a real job, I don't know if that's a real argument. She's made Twitch her real job. I don't know what even a real job is. Like, what is a real job? Isn't a job a real job just where you make money? Like, where you make money to live your life, to have a livelihood, and to take care of yourself. I don't know what a real job is. I think when you say real job, it's like traditional job, like an office job. But the reality is, or like a 9 to 5 job, the reality is not everybody fits there in traditional jobs. This is still a job though. Like, she still is able to support herself, and I think that's the point of having a job. In terms of like the US Army veterans, yeah, of course. Like, I don't think anybody's disregarding US Army veterans. And the fact that they're heroes and they save lives. Like, no one is saying that they haven't been doing that. Yeah. She can go work in the Makas or something. I don't think the issue is that she needs to quit Twitch. I think it's actually that to chill on the toxicity. I don't understand why we have to tear each other down. What's the point? Devin Nash was saying that the reason why people really do that is because they are feeling pretty hurt themselves. And they're feeling so hurt. There's like something that's happened that's kind of traumatized them, that in order to make themselves feel better, they have to be toxic towards others. And again, like, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the suicide of Reckful. As far as I am to understand, he was receiving hate posts 2 hours up until his suicide. So the solution is not quitting Twitch. It doesn't solve the actual problem. The actual problem is the amount of hate that people get online. Like, here's my problem with the streamer. She earns lots of money doing stupid stuff and controversial stuff, like you said. She can't just come out and say she has no idea. She can't just say that she had no idea what reactions that would cause. It's kind of like Trump coming out and saying, "Whoa, you guys are so toxic. I didn't expect you all to be so rude to me." Like, no, it's part of the job. If you can't handle people, don't do a job where you have to deal with thousands of people, And I can totally respect people who struggle with suicidal tendencies, but it is a part of a job to deal with stupid people. Yeah, I think the gaming community is gonna see a huge movement towards not encouraging stupid people. Like, not encouraging that behavior where it's like, I just clipped your stupidest moment and I posted it on live stream fails. And actually, I was watching Healthy Gamer earlier, from Twitch, and he was just saying, like, he's trying to basically cultivate a culture where he's encouraging his community to call these people out. It's like, hey, like, stop doing them. Like, what's your deal, man? Like, why are you telling this person they're ugly? Why are you telling this person, like, they're not succeeding? Like, why are you telling this person to get a real job? Like, dude, there's no benefit to it. And I think we're moving towards like, moderating those kinds of people, Obviously, like, not 100%, but to some degree, it's like, hey, dude, bro, like, just chill out on your comments. Oh, I agree, you shouldn't be attacking people's physical, because then I would never do it, but you can totally attack someone's actions. I guess you could, but you also have to keep in mind that we're all human. We all make mistakes. Like, imagine if you were on camera and people had like a record of like all your mistakes that you've ever done, and then they reposted it so that it never died or went away. Like, you could literally never forget it. And I think people forget online. Like, we're still human. Like, we all have done terrible things. Like, I think most people go around like as decent people, and like they try not to do other people harm. But the thing is, when you're on the internet, I think people just forget that we're human and that we make mistakes, and they just continue to backlog their mistakes, and they're like, hey, Bilbao, do you remember like this mistake that you made like a year ago? Do you remember? Do you remember this mistake you made 2 years ago? Do you remember? Like it's like, dude, chill, man. But I appreciate a very fair point. That's why I recognize my flaws and don't volunteer to have a camera on me hours upon hours a day. Yeah, I mean, the reason why, the reason why, um, it's a give and take. I see your point though. The reason why I actually think having a camera on you, if you're in streaming or if you're in on YouTube, you're like I think having a face cam is actually important. I think um, people need to connect with you and they need to see like they need to connect with you as a person. They need to see your emotions. And I think that can come across like well through face cam. But so I do think it's necessary. Um, yeah, but unfortunately, right now it's coming with like a lot of negativity. You said by the way, Bilbao, you said that you don't volunteer to have a camera. So are you like do you like to stream a lot on Twitch? Right now I'm streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook at the same time. I'm using Mob Crush. Anonym anonymity is quite crazy. Nobody becomes a dick because of anonymity. It only reveals how you already wanted to act. That's the terrifying thing, really. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I can't dispute that. Yeah, there's a lot of hurt in the world, and I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I want to fight against it as much as possible. I want to put out positivity. I want to put out encouragement. I want to put out like I want to build people up, man. Like if they want to go for something, I don't want to say like you can't do it. Like I want to if they're struggling with something, I want to tell them how they can overcome the struggle. But saying like, "Oh, you're terrible at that." "Oh, like you can't do that." "Oh, based on your history, uh I don't think you can do that." I don't think it helps anyone. It doesn't help anyone. Anyways,
Look, every single person has the ability to change it, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Every single individual can change it, and like I'm glad that there's a lot of people here that of a lot of different opinions. I want to do a mental health awareness podcast and invite a lot of the people that are uh, have been championing that for a long time about
I
myself,
want to see
about
actually the
everything's going
original
on,
clip.
and neither can you. You like we have to do something.
There's a bot. Aha.
Were they going to ban? The recent drama with Doctor disrespect and affecting her. Ninja brought up a drama.
Oh, apparently.
And now she did see that XQC gonna
Oh gosh.
beat him up in the video game. And Ninja brought up a drama that happened a year ago. And now she did see that this is really serious and she even thought of ending her life.
I just don't know what to do. Like, I just don't know what to do. Like, do I stop streaming? Is that the only way that people are gonna ever leave me alone?
About which girl? Wait, was it
It's my
was it this
livelihood,
girl who committed
you know?
suicide, or was she reacting to someone's? No, she Alinity was receiving a lot of still is receiving a lot of hate online for being the streamer that she is. She's a bit controversial, and uh, but no, she hasn't committed suicide as far as I know.
And it's been my livelihood for 8 years.
She recently had like just a 52-minute stream, and she was literally just crying on stream. And she just ended it after the 52 minutes. She usually streams for several hours at a time. So I think people are becoming pretty concerned about toxicity in the gaming community.
Years. Like, what am I gonna do?
Don't listen to trolls. Just accept that you made a mistake because you are a human being.
I have, Jack, but do I really have to read thousands and thousands of messages every day about the mistakes I've made in my past?
The best one is to say
Is that
just
really
thank
what
you.
I have to do?
You have been through a lot. You know you are loved and appreciated. Don't forget that.
Like, you can't just say, like, ignore the trolls.
Yeah, you can't just say forget about it.
What Ninja did. Like, what? Like, I sent him a jokeful message about how XQC's gonna beat him in a video game, okay? And he has to bring up drama from a year ago that he knows is going to result in his entire fucking community, like, targeted harassing me. You know what I mean? Like, that is just fucking scummy. Like, that is so fucking scummy.
I'm part of the people who hasn't exactly
You guys need to know that the shit you guys do and the shit you guys say really affects people. Okay? Like, you guys have no idea how many times I've wanted to kill myself. How many times I've spent my entire night trying to figure out how I was gonna end my life. Anyway, I'm done talking about it. I just wanted you guys to know that doesn't matter how strong a person appears, this shit affects them. Okay?
But what counts is bouncing back. I don't think I can say anything.
There's some days that are harder than others, and there's some that are easier. And I know that I appear really strong.
We love you, Natty. Don't listen to stupid people on the internet feeling cool hiding behind a screen.
I just want you guys to know that shit affects people. It really does. It really does. Anyway, I'm done talking about it. I just wanted you guys to know that doesn't matter how strong a person appears, this shit affects them. Okay?
Yeah.
Counts is bouncing back. I don't think I can say anything.
There's some days that are harder than others, and there's some that are easier. And I know that I appear really strong.
We love you, Natty. Don't listen to stupid people on the internet feeling cool hiding behind a screen.
I just want you guys to know that shit affects people. It really does. It really does.
So Lily,
yeah, I think people forget that. Scar. I think I want to start going into some research in terms of what to do in terms of preventing suicide. And I'm going to be posting the stuff I learned on Instagram. We'll be doing some polls.
The media accurately portrays mental health and suicide. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Media accurately portrays mental health and suicide. 3, 2,
I'm going to put that on my Instagram.
I don't think it does all the time, especially because there's so many things that can happen with any sort of mental illness, which makes it then a problem when you're trying to explain it to someone because they think, oh, like in 13 Reasons Why, and it's not always like that.
Sometimes they romanticize suicide and depression in media, and it's kind of like a weird balancing act because there's some
Bilbao on Twitch. Definitely a tough situation for both sides, but the issue with suicide prevention is very individualistic. Ninja's comment, I think, was generally meant as a typical gamer quip. But I do agree that this will change things in the long run. Yeah, we're reaching a breaking point in the gaming community. I think like there have been so many issues in 2020, and then when especially with Twitch actually and streaming in general, like Mixer shutting down, like Twitch DMCA, and then of course there was BLM, and then now there's like suicide because of toxicity in Twitch. And so I think people like under normal circumstances people would have viewed the ninja comment as like kind of like a little bit of a roast or a joke. But it's not a good time to be doing it. So I think people will be like it might be part of a breaking point for us. Where it's like we want those kinds of comments to stop. Bilbao on Twitch, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if Ninja goes through a very tough time due to this. In that sense, it's kind of a vicious cycle. Look at Roast Me on Reddit. That place is the epitome of toxicity. Actually, yeah, I've looked at Roast Me on Reddit before. I think people willingly put themselves there to be roasted. I've seen like, oh gosh, this is like a poor example now, but Fed from from Twitch, he put himself up there, and he was just saying like, do your worst. I think when they're in on it, I think Roast Me maybe is a little bit different because I think they're putting themselves willingly there, and they're like kind of expecting, like the pokes and stuff like that, like being poked at. But the kind of hate and toxicity that we're talking about today is the kind of unwarranted hate that they get all the time for no reason, which leads to suicide, right? Because, I mean, as I said before, like it was reported that Reckful was getting like hate threats like 2 hours, like up until 2 hours before his actual suicide. Yeah, will Ninja have a hard time? Maybe. Yeah, maybe he will.
Mental illnesses that are like seen as trendy or attractive, like anxiety or depression.
And like especially with Twitter and stuff like that, everybody's like talking about it, everybody's retweeting about it. It's not a trend. It's an actual issue that people live with every single day.
Yeah, that's true.
Media doesn't portray like people like myself. I'm a black lesbian woman, and I've dealt with depression for a very long time. I've had suicidal thoughts. I've attempted it. So for me to not have that representation, it's kind of hard for me to relate to it.
Well, I think that the media, it doesn't portray it correctly, but I also think that they're on the way up. It's not good now.
By the way, Bilbao, if you're still here, have you like had any experiences with suicide? Like anybody close to you? Or anybody that you know? What did she say?
My family understands why I wanted to end my life. 3, 2, 1.
The first time I attempted was in middle school, and that was kind of understandable for my mom and my sister, because at that time we were going through a really nasty divorce. So when that happened in middle school, they kind of understood that that's what led to it. And then 2 years ago, I was drugged and assaulted. And that morning after I had been found, it was such a traumatic experience that my mom walked out and I was just leaning over the balcony. And I remember breaking down crying because of the fact that I thought I was gonna throw myself off. So I think I was fortunate enough to have a family that was very understanding of everything I was going through.
I feel like my family didn't really understand. A lot of people still don't know like what's happened in my past. I was assaulted and attempted, and I was roommates with my best friend. She didn't even know. No one knew. So I was handling it all internally, and now that they kind of know more or less, like I just wish they would have talked to me. They would have asked questions, because
because I was in college just all alone dealing with it by myself and no one knew.
Oh man, I
In my
sure did.
family,
My uncle killed himself when I
my
was
parents are
young.
both immigrants.
Smart
My mom
man,
was a
lawyer.
refugee,
Apparently, it
so
was out of
everyone
the
in my
blue,
family
which
struggled with
is,
severe mental health
shocking because usually
and
there's warning
PTSD,
signs that
and
you
we just never
expect.
spoke about
Actually,
it. I
kind
think
of
the
relates
focus
to what
was
blue
make sure you
dress woman is
assimilate, make
saying.
sure you
All alone.
I kind of
Now
missed
that
it because
I was assaulted.
so the questions that they're talking about on screen, I'm actually asking people follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Instagram.com/Ron Cedric Zeta. And it should be linked in my bio if you're watching on Twitch. Um I'm gonna rewatch this first.
Didn't really
Everything I was going through.
I feel like my family didn't really understand. A lot of people still don't know like what's happened in my past. I was assaulted and attempted, and I was roommates with my best friend. She didn't even know. No one knew. And so I was handling it all internally. And now that they kind of know more or less, like I just wish they would have talked to me. They would have asked questions because I was in college just all alone dealing with it by myself and no one knew.
In my family,
So Bill Bao, if you're still here on Twitch, you had no signs whatsoever. Man, I'm sorry. I should have joked about that. It's fucked up. There's no time for jokes. Won't do that again. Hey, dude, it's no worries. Like, I'm happy that you realized that. I like to joke too, but when serious situations, like when there's a topic that's serious, like I don't like to joke. Like obviously, like I have close friends. I like to joke with them all the time. I like to be like lighthearted, but there, I view it as like a sign of maturity when you can recognize that there's a serious issue and your jokes should stop. Like, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that you said that. That you said that you won't do it again. That's great. I actually think like you saying that is it's part of the change. Yeah, like it's part of what will make the community better. Um, so for your uncle, I'm really sorry to hear that. By the way, so you had no sign at all? Like no one talked to him. He didn't say anything. Was he dealing with anything that you know of? No signs. But I was like 7 years old. But from my parents say no. There was a man with a good career, family, money, but it turns out that he was living with depression for a while. So this is different from what we were talking about here because it is less from outside influence, right? Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is feelings of depression are a huge part of suicide. So we should explore that. I should write a note about it. I'm gonna write I have another monitor over here. I'm gonna just quickly write that down because maybe there's also something to do about depression. Okay, depression and suicide. They're related, I guess.
my parents are both immigrants. My mom was a refugee, so everyone in my family struggled with severe mental health and PTSD, and we just never spoke about it. I think the focus was make sure you assimilate, make sure you, get a good job, make sure you're surviving, make sure people see you as, an American.
My family had a really hard time even understanding that I was struggling with mental health because they thought I was doing so well in school and I have all these friends. I'm hanging out with them all the time. How could you have depression?
Yeah, that's another thing I'm
I
hearing.
just don't talk about it with my family. I mean, when
I'm hearing
told
that
my
like
sisters that I was coming on
lots
here,
of
they're
these
like, "Oh,
people
what's it
with
about?" I
who
was
have
like, "Oh, it's about
accomplished a
suicide
lot, it
survivors."
doesn't
They're like,
necessarily
"Really?
reflect what's going on
Did you?" I was
inside their
like,
heads.
Every time I go through a depressive stage, I just want someone to hold me back. And that's why I don't think I actually want to die. It's more like I want to live, but it's really hard to do that.
every moment that passed by, I was like more and more ready to like meet my maker. I saw it as like the easiest way out go somewhere where no one can find me, and then I'll be all right. I don't know how I was found. You know,
One
like
person saying
somehow,
it
some way, my
is
friend
just a
like
dick,
had
but
a gut
thousands can have a
feeling,
real effect. Yeah, like it
and
could drive
then all of a
someone
sudden, like
to
cops were
straight
looking,
killing
knocking on my
themselves.
window
Like,
in my
or
car.
you have no
I
idea, like drinking, they can go to
went above and
drinking
beyond
or
when I was trying to attempt.
drugs. You have no idea.
Me and my sister.
And I think people forget that.
She was begging me to go to the doctor to tell someone, and I was very insistent, like I don't want to. So in those moments, yeah, definitely, I did want to die, but it was only because I didn't know any other solution.
I definitely wanted to end it all at the moment that I was at. I was ready to end it, and I made sure that I was in a place where nobody could find me. Thinking back to when I was sitting in that creek and everything that was going on, I'm really happy that I got up and walked away. I had kind of an epiphany when I was down there and going in and out of consciousness that my life is valuable.
That's a hard one. Suicide is selfish.
I think it is pretty selfish. It's a decision that you're making on your own. You're also not putting much consideration into your family members, your friends. And I think the effects of you killing yourself and leaving your friends and family behind could potentially lead to maybe one of them doing it. My mother, you know, she was going through a divorce right around the time when I tried to
Is
kill
suicide
myself.
selfish?
And she told me that she thought about it too, and that she wanted to, but she knew, like, when she saw me go through it, that she couldn't. Killing yourself could be selfish because of the other people that would be affected.
See, I get where you're coming from.
I
but
don't know.
also,
That's
for
pretty
me,
rough.
the first time I attempted, in my mind, that was going to be the option that would make things easier for my family. And even the second time, for me, it was what was going to make things easier because, in my mind, my family didn't want somebody that had just been drugged and assaulted. Like, that's a huge burden to be carrying. And so I didn't want to place that burden that I was going to have to go through and the financial burden of that on my family.
But I mean, look at all of us. I mean, we all thought that was our option. We thought that that was the way to go. And afterwards, we saw the benefits of actually surviving and not having to be dead.
And that's why I moved, is because I agree with everything that you said. And then I also agree with you about the family situation and about how thinking about your family and thinking about the people that love you. I recently just got reconnected with my biological father. If I would have ended my life at 16, that would have never happened.
Bilbao, I'm gonna read
He
your
would've
comment in a
found me
second.
And he would have got the horrible news like, oh yeah, your daughter committed suicide at 16. So that aspect of it does make me feel like, yes, that is selfish because there are still people who I don't even know who love me.
I agree with you saying that
There's still
suicide
people
can be
who I
selfish
don't even
because
know
it's
who love
such
me.
a huge trauma to a lot of people, but for people going through
Yeah,
that
okay.
actual moment, what I felt most frustrated about was, okay, people don't want me to die. People want me to live, but I don't know how I'm going to live because at that time, I didn't know if I could even start medical transition. And I know trans people in Korea are not even employed, so how am I even gonna get a job? I need some kind of support to continue living,
I
but
should write
that was
that
so
down,
hard
actually.
to find.
So what he just said, or what that person just said, was that in Korea, if you're transgendered, you don't even get a job. Oh, I should actually show you, I guess. Oh. Yeah, I can show you what I'm typing. Suicide notes. In Korea, transgendered people don't get jobs. Excuse my horrible typing. Goodness gracious, what's going on? It's usually not that bad. It's actually quite fast. can be related to suicide. Okay. Bill Bow from Twitch. Oh, this is a tough one. On the other hand, it's not really you in control, is it? So you can't really say that the choice was yours. What do you mean by that? But on the other, you do owe your family and yourself. You do owe your family yourself, especially in cultures that are strongly dependent on family. I'm reading your comment again. So you can't really say that the choice was yours. When you're depressed, it's not really you. Your mind is in the drain. It's not you making the choice to kill yourself. Oh, yeah, that's true. It could be, yeah, it could be like the state. Yeah, you're right, Bilbao. Yeah, that's true. It could be like the state of mind that you're in, and I think depression, as far as I understand, like it can also be caused from like chemical imbalances in your brain. Interesting. It's not really you who chooses to kill yourself because your brain is not in the right place. It's like it's not really you. It's not like a you in a like a in a proper state of mind. But on the other, you do owe your family, so it's not a free choice per se. I see what you're saying. Because that's how you would describe it. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, that's good. Um, so I think I really appreciate you talking um in chat, Bilbao. I think what we can do from here, or yeah, I think what we can do from here is we can compile notes, and what I really excel at is research. I really want to start educating people on how to prevent this sort of thing. I don't know if I don't think you were here earlier, Bilbao, when I said this, but a close friend of mine's. I had a close friend. I have a close friend, and their dad committed suicide. Actually, like in the house that is like I can see their house from where I am. So this issue was also pretty close to me as well, because that was my friend, and I knew his dad. Yeah, it's terrible. It like, and I know like I was in like this is my friend, so I know like which room it was to in the house. Okay.
But
I am a happy person.
I think I once was like very unhappy and very dark on the inside, and I always portrayed being that friendly, outgoing person. Now I'm genuinely happy on the inside because I've worked so hard, equally as hard as I do on my physical fitness with my mental health.
And being happy to me is feeling at one with yourself, which is sometimes just being alone, which is okay. And I feel like people make that like, oh, you're alone all the time, you're excluding yourself. No, it's not that. I'm taking that space for myself to get to be happy.
To be
For
happy,
me,
yeah.
I feel like happiness is a lot of pressure. Like I don't want to measure myself on one emotion. I feel like there's a spectrum of different things you can feel. You can feel upset, you can feel happy, you can feel depressed, and
Yeah, like
for
you're
me,
not like
it's
one
just,
state all the time.
I don't need to be
Yeah.
in a constant state of it. So I think when we talk
You're like a
about
mix of
happiness,
things all the
it gets
time.
confusing because I think generally we're just saying, are you okay? And to me, that's different.
it really saddens me that I am standing here because I know it will disappoint a lot of people around me because they all want happiness for me. And sometimes I feel like I need to be happy because I need to fulfill
Their
those
expectations.
people's wishes.
Yeah.
But it's not actually that. It's supposed to be for my own sake. And like it's also like every day I struggle with a lot of things like being trans, being a non-US citizen who is trying to immigrate here, having family issues.
Man, it's cliche as hell, but really sometimes the most depressed people appear
So-
happy
And
on the
it's okay
outside.
to not be okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Robin
like, you
Williams,
have to be forced
and
to
he
be
was like
happy. It's okay.
And that's the thing,
like
like,
one
if
of the
you had
most
asked me a
famous
month ago, I would have been
comedians
standing
to
right
ever
there
live.
with you. It's such
And
a
then suddenly he
wave,
just
but like
committed
the past
suicide.
week, it's
Yeah.
been a good week for me. But I mean, a month ago, I would have been right over there.
I think maybe sometimes
I think in terms of the statement, it gets
people
better.
feel
There's kind of a
like
little tagline
they
that comes
have
after it
to
that's,
be
but
happy
it does
to
take time.
fill the
You don't heal right away.
expectations of
Sometimes
those
you're gonna be in that dark
who
place
want
and you have to
those
write it out and you just have to find that willpower inside
who
yourself.
want them to
And it's very hard sometimes.
I feel like something that I was told a lot growing up was that it doesn't get better and that life gets worse and all those things. Like, it totally gets better. Everyone was wrong. Take those risks, like, have faith in your own abilities, like, push yourself as far as you can go. That's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, and it gets better.
I feel like for me, I'm in a position of privilege because it did get better for me. I had access to resources. I had health insurance so I could see a therapist. I have a job, so I have financial stability. I don't think that everyone gets that. I don't think that everyone is dealt the same hand.
I'm on the side of agreement here. I think that time heals all. Earlier I said I wasn't happy, but compared to where I was when I tried to kill myself, tremendously improved. I'm not in that deep, dark state of mind, and I do want to live. I still struggle with it, but I don't want to die.
And I think that's all that matters. Our society is so adamant about, making it a point that, well, you have to get better quickly.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification, right? You have to get better quickly. And you have to
Yeah,
act
they don't
like you're
recognize
better
that it
quickly,
actually
and you
can take a
it's
long
okay
time.
To act like you're not okay for that time being. But as long as you get out of it and get there and take your time and do what you need, that's all that matters.
Can I get a hug? I feel like so much more.
It gets better, everyone.
It does.
Group hug. Big group hug.
Yes. Oh.
It actually could be like a long process. Oh yeah. To write love on her arms, yeah. Oof. Yeah, this is a pretty tough subject. I've been at it for how long have I been at it for? About 2 hours. I think the next part of the stream, maybe the next hour or so, I want to start reading blogs. I want to start watching videos on how to maybe talk to someone who's thinking about suicide, or how to maybe how to spot it, what to do if you see it. Very true. It's socially acceptable to say I beat depression, but say I have depression and that's your job. You have friends, family, yeah, maybe even. Everyone loves beating depression story, but nobody wants to help you deal with it. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, yeah. Like everybody loves like the comeback story. Everybody loves to hear like what happens at the end. But not necessarily everybody is there for your journey. Like to give you help, or after this go buy yourself some good food and a nice cool drink. In my experience, these things are necessary after talking about shit. Thanks. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I'll take a bit of a break like when this is all over. I think I'll be up for about an hour or two more, just looking at some videos of what we should do, about this. I definitely need to get these numbers. Sure. How to talk to suicidal patients. Why do we say people? How to prevent suicide by talking about it. Talking with someone who is suicidal, Katie Wooten. I think I want to know what she's talking about.
Hey everybody, happy Monday.
She looks
Today's
like a
video is
YouTuber.
all about
Almost a
how to
million
have a real conversation
subscribers.
with someone who may be suicidal. And if you didn't know, this week is National Suicide Prevention Week, so both of my videos will touch on important and hopefully life-saving ways to prevent suicide, because it can and will get better if we work together. And that's why this week I am adding the donate button to both of my videos to help raise money for Crisis Text Line. And if you don't know, Crisis Text Line is a non-profit that provides free 24/7 and confidential support for those who are in crisis, all via text messaging. Your generous donation allows them to help individuals in crisis and save lives every day. So hit that donate button now to support what they do. And I just want to say this, if you are currently in crisis or just wanting to talk to someone, you can reach out to the Crisis Text Line right now by texting BEGIN to 741.
Bilbao, by the way, in terms of food and a drink, what's your favorite? What food would you suggest? Like, what would you buy for yourself?
And in the UK, text SHOUT to 85258. Or call your local suicide hotline, which I will put a link to as many as I can figure out in the description down below. Now today I want to discuss how we can best communicate with someone in our life who may currently be suicidal. And obviously I know we won't always know if someone is suicidal, but that's why I want to start out with giving you some warning signs to look out for. And the first warning sign is if they haven't been calling, texting, or as socially active as usual.
Oh, so they're like isolating themselves. Yeah.
And the second warning sign is if we know they have a history of depression. Maybe they've talked to us about it before, or we know they've
Glass of peach water. That actually sounds really good.
The third warning sign, if they've given
Nice
away
Neapolitan
any
pizza
of,
and a
what
cold
we
glass
think
of
are
peach
their
water. That
prized
actually sounds
possessions.
great, man.
Maybe it's one of
I
their
want.
favorite
I would love that
items,
actually.
or something that has a lot of sentimental value.
Known
They're giving
history
those
of
things away.
depression,
That's
giving away
a
possessions.
really big red flag. And the fourth red flag is they've been, drinking alcohol a lot, or substance abuse issues. If that's been increasing, look out for that. Or the fifth sign, they've been sleeping a lot, like most of the day, every day.
Oh yeah.
Now there are
like
maybe
maybe
lot
they
of
don't
other
want to deal
signs
with
and
whatever they're
symptoms to be
dealing with.
aware of, but hopefully that gives you some idea of what to look out for. And of course, know that someone else's mental health and safety is not your responsibility. All we can do is check in with them, work to have, a possibly awkward conversation, and support them in their recovery. They are the ones
I don't know
that
who
have
this
to want
Katie
to get better
Morton
and
is,
do
but
the
I don't
hard
know
work in
if you know her,
therapy.
Bilbao,
We know
but
how hard that is.
maybe she's
And we all know
dealt
that
with
no one
depression. I
else
don't,
can
or
make us
suicide.
better,
I don't really
right?
know.
We have to want to do it ourselves. So just remember that. Now, my first tip for starting this conversation is to, number one,
She seems to know her stuff.
questions
She looks like
and
it, yeah.
listen. And I know
Good
many
advice.
people worry that by even bringing up suicide, that you can make it worse for someone. But trust me, it's actually so much better to bring it up and to talk about it and give them
Oh, you can't even
safe
see the
space to
tips.
express what's
Let me
going
just-
on.
There you
So
go.
often I get messages from people who are struggling with suicidal thoughts, and they share how they feel like they just can't deal with it on their own anymore, or that they just don't know how to even tell someone about it.
Ask and
By being the
listen.
one who starts that conversation and asks them how they're doing, if they are in fact having thoughts of suicide, we give the person hurting a chance to unburden themselves from it. And so make sure you listen and give them a chance to tell you what it's like for them, tell you what's really going on and how they feel. And do your best not to assume that you know or that you understand how they feel, especially if we haven't felt that ourselves. Oftentimes when we're feeling this dark and hopeless, we really just need to vent all that we've been holding inside. So let them vent for a while before sharing any thoughts you might have about it, okay? Now my second tip is, don't try to fix it. I know, we love
Don't try to
them, we
fix
want them
it.
to feel better, but this isn't something we can fix. We can't make those hopeless thoughts go away or change their perception of a situation. And in all honesty, doing this can be really invalidating. I mean, just think about it for a second. If you've been hurting for what feels like forever, and when you finally tell someone about it, they say something like, don't worry, it'll get better. I mean, think about it. You have so much going for you. So many people like you. You have a great job. While these types of comments have the greatest of intentions, they aren't really what we need at the time. Types of comments have the greatest of intentions, they aren't really what we need at the time.
Sorry, just give me a sec.
What we need is someone to just listen, ask questions that help them, better understand what we're actually going through and to be there for us. Otherwise, it can seem like we're being judged for how we feel and what we're going through. So just try to focus on offering compassion and understanding and just let them tell you how it is for them. My third tip, offer real support. And what I mean by that is to offer to help them find a mental health professional, or take them to appointments, help pay for it if you can, or simply check in on them regularly and see how they're doing. By doing those first two tips that I already talked about, we should have a pretty good idea of what's going on and how they're feeling. And we could even ask them how we could best support them. And they may not know right away, but if you have some ideas of what you want to do, just
That's
ask
the most
if that's
important
okay
thing.
or if they find that helpful. This could help them better
That is
see what to
absolutely
ask
true.
for
It's
or
very true. It's like
what to let you
patronizing.
know they just don't really need.
Ask
My
and
next
listen.
tip is to stick with them. Now I know that kind of sounds a bit odd, but many of you have told me that the reason you waited so long to speak up and reach out is because you're afraid of people leaving you or saying you were too much of a burden and you feel worse than you did before. So it's like, why tell anybody, right? So reassuring your loved one that you will stick with them through this and that you're happy to support them and be there for them will go a long way. And yeah, you may need to remind them of this a couple of times and obviously actually do it, but check in on them, make plans with them, and listen to them. Because being suicidal means that we don't feel worth it. It can feel really hopeless and it can feel like our world is just going to fall apart at any second. So the more reassurance you can give them, the better. And finally, my fifth tip, take care
Give them
of yourself.
reassurance.
Dealing with someone who is suicidal can be very stressful, especially if they're one of our really close loved ones. So make sure you're taking time to decompress after interactions with them.
Take care of
Maybe
yourself.
making time to vent your own issues to friends, family, or even your own therapist. This can not only help you feel better, but it will also allow you to keep supporting them throughout their journey. Also, this can help make sure you're managing healthy boundaries, which are so important because, like I said at the beginning, you are not responsible for their recovery or overall wellness.
Yeah, I think a lot of
They
people
are.
take responsibility.
But you can support
Like
and
if
assist when
the
needed
suicide
along
actually
the way.
happens,
So if you
then
aren't feeling your best, maybe you're irritable,
they feel like they were
tired, or having your
responsible.
own struggles, know that it's okay to take some time for yourself. In fact, it's preferred. And I know there are so many people out there who are suffering and don't know how to talk about it. So maybe if we try to be the ones to bring it up first, we can get them help more quickly.
Hi, hey,
I
Lottie
honestly
Lass.
see
Thanks for
so
joining
many
the stream.
questions asking how we can help someone that we love who's having a hard time. And that just gives me so much hope because that means that we all have people in
If
our
you're just
lives
joining
who
the stream,
want to
we're
support
just
and love us. So I hope that helps you know.
we're just watching videos and we're taking notes. I realized like I missed like a bunch of stuff there while I was setting up the windows. So I'll go back there on my own time and I'll add to this list. But what this there's Katie Morton on YouTube. She has near 1 million subscribers. She sounded like she really knew what she was talking about. And she's just offering some tips on how to talk to people who have or who are dealing with suicidal thoughts or how to spot it. I remember she was saying like how to spot suicidal people. And she said like they start isolating themselves. They start giving their I see your comment, Bilbao, I'm just typing. Giving their possessions away. They start going into bad habits. Like drinking. What else did she say?
Just or substance abuse issues.
Yeah.
That gives support them.
Increased substance
but
abuse.
hopefully that
Isolating behaviors, known history of depression. increased substance abuse, and sleeping most of the day. Bilbao. That's hard to avoid though. The people around you are inevitably going to feel terrible. So I guess it's about creating an environment that's open to revealing your thoughts. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think the reason why someone might not reveal their thoughts is if they don't feel it's safe to. Like maybe historically they've been shut down from revealing their thoughts, or they've been put down, like they are actually made fun of for revealing their thoughts. And yeah, so I would actually even add your point to my notes. Like I think creating a safe space for suicidal people or depressed people to share their feelings with you. Yeah, thanks for that, Bilbao. I appreciate that. Yeah, I put your point right here. That's a good point. Thanks for saying that.
That gives you assist when needed along the way. So if you aren't feeling your best, maybe you're irritable, super tired, or having your own struggles, know that it's okay to take some time for yourself. In fact, it's preferred. And I know there are so many people out there who are suffering and don't know how to talk about it. So maybe if we try to be the ones to bring it up first, we can get them help more quickly. I honestly see so many questions asking how we can help someone that we love who's having a hard time. And that just gives me so much hope, because that means that we all have people in our lives who want to support and love us. So I hope that helps you know just where to start that conversation. And as always, if you feel that I left anything out or you think of this in a totally different way, please let me know in those comments down below. And don't forget to hit that donate button. And
How to help a friend feeling suicidal. Psych2Go. Oh, I like this channel actually. Let's go theater mode. Oh, that's probably better, right? Yeah, it's bigger. Maybe I'll move my camera a bit.
Suicide is one of the hardest things to deal with, not just for the person considering suicide, but for the people surrounding that individual. Often, people who observe suicidal behavior from someone they love become very concerned and even disturbed at what they're seeing. But it's very important not to let your shock overwhelm you. Instead of focusing on the sadness of the situation, there are many things you could do to help these suicidal individuals. 1. Don't ask too many questions. In 2010, a study was done on the rising suicide rates in Japan, an area which has a massive problem with people taking their own lives. It found that asking too many questions can sometimes cause a negative reaction in suicidal people. Could this just be due to Japanese culture, or is this an indicative of a more widespread trait when it comes to suicide people all over the world?
I wonder
It would
why.
make sense for this to apply to all people, because the feeling of being interrogated with many questions is never fun. Because of the shock of finding out someone is suicidal, it can be tempting to bombard them with constant questions. But a more effective technique is to start slow, just letting the person know you're there to help.
I have to get going for work, man, but I'm glad I checked in. I'll add you on my
2.
Insta.
Don't
Okay,
give them
thanks, man.
false
Yeah, I
hope.
appreciate that. I'll see you on Insta.
Another very
Good on you for
interesting
doing
study
this.
was
Thanks,
done
Bill.
in India,
Have a good day and have a
another
good time at
country
work,
that is
buddy.
suffering
Thanks for
from
joining.
increased suicide rates. They found that giving the person false hope can
Don't
be a
ask too many
disaster.
questions.
It would make sense for this to apply to all people, because the feeling of being interrogated with many questions is never fun.
Cheers, man. Take it easy. You too,
Because
buddy.
of the
Thanks for
shock
coming.
of finding out someone is suicidal, it can be tempting to bombard them with constant questions. But a more effective technique is to start slow, just letting the person know you're there to help at first. 2. Don't give them false hope. Another very interesting study was done in India, another country that is suffering from increased suicide rates. They found that giving the person false hope can be a disastrous decision. Although you might feel that making unreasonable promises to the person might convince them not to commit suicide, it actually causes the opposite effect. They immediately see through this fake promise and become even more disillusioned with the world they live in. Although it might be tempting to say things like, "Everything is going to be okay," take a second to think what you're saying. Is everything really going to be okay? As this study suggests, a better option might be to employ a more realistic approach. 3. Don't try to relate. The same study as mentioned before also found that trying to relate to the suicidal person
I know
can
how
be a
you
bad
feel.
decision. You have to understand that in the minds of
Don't
suicidal
say
people,
that you
no one
know
understands what they're going
how
through.
they.
Even if you have contemplated suicide in the
Nobody
past and feel like
really
you've gone through the
knows
exact
how
same thing,
they feel.
don't try to relate your own experiences to what they're going through. The suicidal person will most likely reject this advice because they believe it does not apply to them. Instead, focus on trying to listen to them and trying to understand their own unique circumstances as best you can. 4. Use their own belief system to convince them. The same study as previously mentioned provides one more great piece of advice. Researchers revealed that you can help suicidal people choose life by learning about their personal beliefs and using them to convince the person not to commit suicide. If they believe in a specific religion, use teachings from that religion to convince them about the value of life. If they believe in nothing at all, you can use that to convince them as well, by saying
Use
things
their
like,
belief
"You only live
system?
once, why not make the most out of it?" 5. Encourage them to see a professional. One of the best things to do, if not the best thing to do to help suicidal people, is to encourage them to see a mental health professional. That's not to say you should refuse to help them, telling them to get help and walk away. That would not go down well. What you can do is let them know that you're there for them, listen carefully, and then encourage them to get help. You have to remember that you're not a professional, you're not trained in this, and you don't have the resources to help, unless of course you are a trained mental health professional. 6. Take them seriously. There has been a huge tendency to dismiss the validity of suicidal tendencies throughout the years. People often say things like, "They're just doing it for attention," or "They'll never actually go through with it." This is perhaps the worst outlook you could take when it comes to
Yeah.
suicidal people.
Dismissing
You have
them.
to take them seriously. If no one pays attention to them or displays any concern, this might actually push them further towards suicide. It makes them feel alone. Studies have shown that the vast majority of people who have committed suicide displayed warning signs before taking their own lives. In addition, a study in Finland found that 10% of people who committed suicide saw a health professional within 24 hours of taking their own lives. 7. Try not to seem fake. Something that really causes a negative effect when it comes to dealing with people contemplating suicide is when you appear too fake. As previously mentioned, it's important you take these people seriously, but this doesn't mean turning yourself into something you're not. Be yourself. Don't act like a different person all of a sudden just because you found out that someone close to you is contemplating suicide. They will see right through your fake demeanor. This might cause a negative effect, creating a sense of increased disillusion in their view of the world around them. An example of this would be adopting a babying, almost patronizing approach to these people, speaking softly to them as if they were a small child. But there are many other ways you can appear fake when it comes to interacting with suicidal individuals. 8. Encouraging participation in culture. Recently, Canada, Finland, and other countries situated around the Arctic belt embarked on an ongoing study to tackle the growing problem with suicide among the people living in the far north. The vast majority of these people are part of Aboriginal groups, such as the Inuit in Canada and the Sami in Finland, societies with growing suicide epidemics. Although this strategy was specifically tailored towards Inuit people, it can be applied to people all over the world. When they encourage these people to participate in their own culture, such as singing traditional songs, creating traditional arts and crafts, and generally doing things typical to their traditional culture,
I'm
they
not sure
reduce
if
the
this
risk
is
of
applicable
suicide.
for everybody.
Perhaps this helps because the
This part?
suicidal people feel like they belong to a larger collective, thus their sense of loneliness is lessened. They suddenly feel like they belong to part of a community, and a culture that has spanned multiple generations behind them. This strategy could definitely be applied to the general population. Traditional culture is not something we experience on a day-to-day basis, especially if we live in a big city. Certain countries also seem devoid of culture these days, especially nations like America and Canada, who are relatively young countries. They don't have centuries of tradition like many nations in Europe. Would it help if we began to actively promote our ethnic cultures? The result in Inuit societies seem to suggest so. 9. Address unresolved grief. One of the biggest reasons people contemplate suicide is because they're experiencing unresolved grief. Indeed, it's one of the biggest warning signs of people who might commit suicide in the future. These people might say that they're about to see dead loved ones again, or that they wish they could see dead family members again. When people can't properly work out the grieving process, they turn to drastic measures, including suicide. They feel it's the only way out, or the only way they'll ever see that person again. If you think this might be the root case of their suicidal thoughts, bring it up. If you encourage them to address it, they might be able to finally come to terms with it and move on. 10. Stop them from taking certain prescription drugs. There is also a huge problem with suicides in the military,
Can you do that?
specifically the U.S. Army. The rates are so alarming that multiple
Can you
studies have
prevent
tried to
someone
look
from
into this
taking
problem
prescription
and figure out
drugs?
how to tackle it.
You're not with them
In
24/7.
2012, one of them found that one factor contributing to suicidal behavior was a reliance on certain prescription drugs, specifically opioids. We've seen it again and again. TV commercials that sell these drugs and slip in the disclaimer at the end, which says this might result in suicidal thoughts. While this study was done through the military, it applies to all people. If you know someone who is suicidal and they take certain prescription drugs, most notably opioids, it might be a good idea to get them to stop, or at least bring up the fact that their medication might be the reason they're suicidal. Do you have any tips that can help suicidal individuals? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to check out our other social media for more
I
content.
don't know if you could physically stop someone from taking prescription drugs, but that's why I put monitor their use of prescription drugs. Like I think, like how are you supposed to prevent them from doing that? You're not with them all the time. But I think you could bring it to their attention, and yeah, I think you can maybe say like, hey, is this good for you? Should you be doing this? You can do that much, but I don't think you can physically stop them from taking prescription drugs. What's it like to survive a suicide attempt? How to help someone who is suicidal?
If your friend mentions suicide or self-harm, take them seriously. If you believe that they're in danger, call 911 or the Poison Control Center immediately. Your friend's life is more important than their privacy. Wellcasters. Have you ever had someone just want to end it all? Permanently? It's never easy to think about or hear. Yes, life can get so complicated and overwhelming, it's hard to even imagine that things would ever get better again. But most people bounce back. Unfortunately, some don't. Suicide is a tragedy that affects everyone, and it's one of the leading causes of death for people 24 and younger. Here's what to do if you suspect a friend might be having thoughts of suicide. Tip 1. Learn to recognize dangerous signs. Has your friend talked about feeling hopeless or anxious? Have you noticed a change in your friend's behavior, acting withdrawn, sleeping less, sleeping a lot more? Maybe they're abusing alcohol or drugs, giving away their belongings. Maybe your friend has even talked about hurting themselves, or worse, wanting to die. For a complete checklist of suspect behaviors, pause and print out our worksheet. Tip 2. Initiate dialogue in a non-judgmental way. Sit your friend down.
Non-judgmental way, yeah. Like set up the safe space.
Talk privately and freely. Start by telling your friend how much you care about them, but some of their behaviors have concerned you.
Tell them how much you care.
Refer to our worksheet for ideas on how this conversation might flow. If you determine that your friend is in danger and that they need help immediately, please call 911. Household items like pills or razor blades, they quickly become lethal weapons in the hands of a suicidal person. Tip 3. React with feeling. If your friend does confide in you thoughts of suicide, be compassionate and make it known that you're there to listen. Don't aim to change their mind, start an argument, or give advice. Many people who attempt suicide don't actually want to die. They just want their suffering to end, and suicide seems like the only avenue. Engage in conversation with your friend and find out what's hurting them. Tip 4. Shift the focus from sources of pain to resources for treatment. In addition to external challenges, your friend might also be fighting internal demons that require professional care. Depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders are often present in the suicidal. Many of these illnesses can be diagnosed and treated.
Anxiety.
Encourage your friend to require professional care. Depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders are often present in the suicidal. Many of these illnesses can be diagnosed and treated. Encourage your friend to seek help and offer to work with them to locate a mental health professional or clinic. We strongly recommend looping their family members into this process. Tip 5. Lastly, stay connected, even after your friend has sought help and seems to be on the path to healing.
Check on them.
Encourage other friends, roommates, and family members to check in on your friend during this vulnerable time. This is an especially important step, since many suicides occur in a period of apparent improvement. Listen, this video is a starting point. Please do your own independent research to identify more resources. But here are a few we recommend.
I should do like resources for people
Save a life just by reaching out to
dealing
someone
with
who's in need.
suicide. We should get all the resources together for people. And there were also resources, I think, here as well.
Hey everybody, have support and love, you know, down below. Maybe they
Therapy in a nutshell. No, I think it was this one. What was that video that showed all of the
things to deal with.
Oh, I think it was the Jubilee video actually. Let's go Jubilee for a second. Is it over here? No, it's not that. Let's go back. Yeah, okay.
In this segment of Therapy in a Nutshell, we're going to talk about what you can do if you're worried that someone you care about is having suicidal thoughts. I once made this post on Facebook about how most deaths by guns are suicide or domestic violence. And someone else commented on my post like, why bother trying to stop people from committing suicide? Because they're just going to find another way to do it.
That's not true.
The reality is that that is not true.
What?
Most suicide is impulsive, and most suicides can be prevented by removing easy access to suicide. So by taking away guns, or by taking away Tylenol, or by preventing people from having easy access to means to take their lives. So an interesting example of this is from England in the 1930s and 40s. Back then they were using this coal gas to heat their ovens, and it was a simple way to commit suicide. You just stick your head in the oven, turn the gas on, don't turn on the pilot light, and you'll just go to sleep. And when they changed the type of gas in ovens in England to like a natural gas, suicides decreased massively. And this shows us that a lot of people take their lives when it's easy. If they're delayed or prevented from taking their lives, then later on they can get the help they need and actually live very happy and fulfilling lives. So learning how to stop people from committing suicide is an
Don't make it
essential tool
accessible.
that
Don't make it
everyone
easy
should
for them to
have.
do it.
Most people don't get a lot of education on how to prevent suicides and help someone who is suicidal. So in this segment, we're going to talk about how to help if a person you care about is suicidal. The topic of suicide is a difficult one for many people. It's scary to think about, and many people just don't know how to respond if the person they care about talks about suicide, or if you wonder that they're having thoughts of suicide. But with a little education, you can become much more comfortable broaching the subject, knowing what to ask, and knowing when to take action to keep them safe. Research shows that if someone who is suicidal can be prevented from immediately acting, that later they often get feeling better and they no longer feel suicidal and they're grateful that they're alive. Suicide is overwhelmingly an impulsive act. One study of suicide survivors said that only 13%
13%.
reported thinking about committing suicide for 8 hours or longer. 70% said they thought about it for less than an hour, and a whopping 24% said the idea had occurred to them less than 5 minutes before their attempt. Your job is to make it difficult for them, to slow them down and give them alternatives, and you can really make a difference in people's lives. When someone is depressed, suicide is a very real danger. It's important to know the warning signs. These include talking about suicide, talking about dying,
Talking about
oneself,
harming yourself.
or a preoccupation with death. Expressing feelings of hopelessness or self-hate.
Hopelessness.
Acting in dangerous or self-destructive ways. Getting their affairs in order and saying goodbye. Anger, rage, or wanting revenge. Seeking
Anger.
out pills, weapons, or other lethal objects. A sudden sense of calm after a depression, or giving away their possessions. Many factors contribute to someone's decision to take their life, but some common circumstances that make someone at higher risk include relationship problems, problems with substance abuse, a recent or upcoming crisis, recent job loss, crime, and physical health problems. And here are some risk factors, meaning things that statistically make a suicide attempt more likely. Impulsivity. Elderly or teenagers are at a higher risk. Mental illness. Having access to a means like pills, drugs, or firearms. Having experienced a recent loss, a recent suicide at their school, or a recent breakup of a relationship. Previous suicide attempts. Females tend to have more suicide attempts. Males tend to choose more lethal methods. Substance abuse and substance use. The first thing to know is you can reach out for help. Contact a mental health professional or call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. They can give you advice on how to support the person you care about. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is at 1-800-273-TALK. The Lifeline staff can refer you to resources in your community, and Lifeline has trained counselors available 24/7. To find support groups outside the U.S., go to Befrienders Worldwide. In addition to reaching out to the National Helpline, you can also support them in a couple of important ways. Don't be afraid to ask them about it. Talk about it. Research shows that talking with someone about suicide is not going to encourage them to do it. As parents, we want our kids to talk to us about what's going on for them, but we don't realize how sometimes the way we respond shuts down that communication. So, for example, in this little comic, the young man says, "I'm feeling depressed lately," and the parent is really dismissive. "Oh, don't be silly. You have everything in the world going on for you." And a little bit later, the mom's saying to the kid, "How come you don't tell me anything?" So again, going back to that empathic listening is really an essential tool if we want to help our children or family members when they're struggling. Now, here's a couple things that you can say that might be helpful. "I'm sorry you're feeling so bad. I'm glad you told me. I want to know. I can
Creating a
handle
safe
it.
space.
How can I help?"
Safe space. Creating a safe space. So, safe space was here. Talk to them in a non-judgmental way. Things you can say. "I'm sorry you're feeling so bad. I'm glad you told me. How, I want to know. I can handle it. Can you though? How can I help? We'll get through this together. Tell me more. Let's keep you safe. Let's find someone who can help." So this is like a reoccurring theme. Creating a safe space for people, for the suicidal person to talk to you.
Help. We'll get through this together. Tell me more. Let's keep you safe. Let's find someone who can help. And some things not to say. "That's crazy. Don't be so dramatic. That's an awful thing to say. You're making too much of it. That boy, exam, friend, grade isn't worth killing yourself over. That's not going to solve anything. You're just trying to get attention.
Oh my gosh.
You're not going to kill yourself. Even if it seems like their suicide attempt is a cry for attention.
That's terrible, actually, what she just said.
We'll
Yeah.
get through this together. We'll get through this together.
Do not dismiss them.
Tell me more. Let's keep you safe.
Not say.
Let's find someone who can help.
You won't do it.
Some things not to say. That's crazy. Don't be so dramatic. That's an awful thing to say.
That's crazy.
You're making too much of it.
Don't be so dramatic.
That boy, exam, friend, grade isn't worth killing yourself over. That's not going to solve anything.
Too much.
You're just trying to get attention.
Holy, bro. Don't challenge them. What are you doing? You're making too much of this. You won't do it. Holy. That blank isn't worth killing yourself over. That's not going to solve anything. You're just trying to get attention. You're not going to kill yourself. Holy. You cannot. Yeah, absolutely not. Do not challenge them on this. That's terrible.
You're not going to kill yourself. Even if it seems like their suicide attempt is a cry for attention, then it probably is. They're desperately asking for help and connection with a problem that they don't know how to solve. Ask them directly if they have suicidal thoughts or plans. If they say yes, they need to see a mental health professional. You can continue to support them, listen to them, and be kind to them, but you need to insist that they see a professional.
Actually more.
You could tell them, I care enough about you that I have to do something. Either you tell someone and take care of this, or I will call someone to help you. If they refuse, start to include other people. Talk to their parents, school counselors, church leaders, let their therapist know about their behaviors. Try to get as many people involved as necessary.
Parents,
if there is
friends,
an imminent risk,
church
like
leaders,
if they have a plan or they have a means, meaning that they have a way to kill themselves, or if you have a deep sense that something is deeply wrong or there are other warning signs, then you need to make sure they get help immediately. This is the time to break their trust if they asked you not to tell anyone. One of my close family members' life was saved because a friend broke her confidence and told our parents, and we're all so grateful that her friend did that. In this situation, your actions could be the difference between life and death. So err on the side of caution. Ask them about suicidal thoughts. Be a good listener and friend. Encourage or force them to get help. Delay them, impede them, take away their means, like their keys, guns, medications, etc. Another thing you should know as a parent
don't take away their phones. Statistically, it also removes their access to support networks.
This is linked to suicide attempts, and it also removes their access to their social support network. Reach out to resources or do anything you can to help them, even if it makes them mad or makes things worse in the short term, or even if it costs you your friendship. Saving their life is more important. And while we as helpers can't stop every suicide, we can have an impact to their social support network.
Statistically linked with suicide.
Social support network. Reach out to resources or do anything you can to help them, even if it makes them mad or makes things worse in the short term, or even if it costs you your friendship. Saving their life is more important. And while we as helpers can't stop every suicide, we can have an impact and prevent many of them. I'm attaching links to a couple of resources. Feel free to check them out if you want to know more. This video is an excerpt from my intensive course on how to help when someone you care.
I think we're almost ready to head off for the day. Possibly. How long have we been up? Oh, we've been up for about 3 hours. I think I'll be right back. I'm just gonna take a break. I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey everyone, I'm back. Just gonna turn down the music a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly check some socials, see if anybody responded to anything. I've been putting out Instagram posts. My Instagram is Ron Cedric Zeta on Instagram. It should be linked somewhere. If you're watching on Twitch, it should be in the bio and or yeah. Ron RON Cedric CEDRIC ZETA on Instagram. I've been putting up like these polls about opinions of suicide. So let me I'm just gonna quickly check. Who's that? Oh my gosh, why do you talk about suicide? Who's that? My bad, didn't mean that. So one of my friends, she's asking me why I'm talking about suicide. I'm just gonna quickly tell her. Someone in the gaming community committed suicide yesterday. So I'm learning all about it today and how to prevent it. Okay. And Facebook's fine and YouTube looks fine too. Twitter looks okay. Yeah, Twitter looks good. All right. So we have about an hour to go. I think the one of the things that I really want to do is I want to assemble a set of resources for myself and for other people as well. If they don't know the resources that are available to them. So yeah, I'm gonna look at some of these videos, and then I think we'll end stream after that. I was thinking about like maybe playing a game, but I don't think it's an appropriate time to be playing games on stream. Yeah, maybe I'll do that like privately like later, but yeah, right now I don't think it's appropriate. I think we should assemble resources and then we'll end stream. So that will be about a 3.5 hour stream or so. All right. Resources for those thinking of resources for suicidal people. Doesn't center. Well, these are in Canada where I'm from. I'm from Ontario. So well, what were some of these resources here? Oh, why don't we make a chart actually? Name. Name. Link or phone.
If your friend mentions suicide or self harm, take them seriously. If you believe that they're in danger, call 911 or the Poison Control Center immediately. Your friend's life is more important than their privacy.
Okay, so we have emergency 911 Poison Control Center in Ontario, where I am. Poison Control Center. "24 hours a day, every day. 170 languages. Call us toll free. Okay, or you can email them. So maybe we should make a separate link for that. There's an email and there's 2 numbers. And there's an email. Where's the email? There's the email. Poison prevention materials. No, I don't think that's what we need, but that's a good column to have. Okay, let's go with the next resource. What else do we got here? Crisis Services Canada. Website? Website? Sorry guys, kind of hit me a bit, you know? Like, I think I'm gonna need a bit of a break after this. It's a lot. Crisis Services Canada. Website's here. Send a text. Oh, they have text too? Interesting. Text. Call 1-833-456-4566 24/7. Send a text to 45645, and they're available from 4 p.m. to midnight. This one is 24/7, and this one is 24/7 as well. Actually, I have a friend. Doesn't the TTC in Toronto also have that? Well, is it oh, it's Crisis Link. Crisis. Oh, the Distress Center, that's right. That's what it's called. I want the phone number. That's the Distress Center. In the GTA, that's 416-408-4357. That's in the GTA. 905-459-7777. That's in Peel. And 833-456-4566. That's nationwide. Text 45645. Oh, that's the same as this one. Anything else we're missing? National Suicide Prevention Hotline. I think these are for Americans. Okay, I think those are the main ones. The last one maybe is this one, the Lifeline. Their website doesn't look that developed. Kids Help Phone, Trans Lifeline, Canada. Canada Suicide Prevention Service. Canada Suicide Prevention. That is 1-833-456-4566. Isn't that the same as another number? No, it's okay. And that one is available 24/7. 1-833-456-4566. But I think this poison control. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's an. I think we're okay for today. There's lots of lines actually. Okay. I think that's enough talking about suicide for today. We're on for about 3.5 hours, something like that. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot about Reckful today, Byron. Learned that he was a fun-loving guy that unfortunately fell to suicide. We learned about different ways we could prevent it, different ways we could spot it. And we saw some of these links, which will help with suicide prevention control. Suicide prevention. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit out of it, actually. I think I've kind of been invested in this heavy topic for a couple hours, and my brain is kind of fried. But if you watch the stream, thank you for coming. If you'd like to watch more streams in the future, they won't all be about suicide. But if you'd like to watch more, you can look at my link tree, and you could follow me on other socials. So that would be this one. Okay. If you like, you can follow me if you like. I think the last thing that I want to do today is I want to make like a little video for TikTok or like for Instagram, and just conclude the stream. Or maybe I'll do that another time. I'm kind of out of it, actually. Yeah, I guess I'll do that another time. If you're watching, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching.